Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I don't know if this is an exciting video or like what this is, but I don't know, let's just get into it. Okay, so I gotta admit, this is a little bit weird. This isn't something that I ever thought that I'd be talking about. Not even just to like an audience, but like just in general. It's kind of weird that this is my life now. If you have been here for a while, have been watching my videos since the beginning, then you probably know that November 2019, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And if you didn't know that and you don't know anything about this, I'm just gonna link a couple of videos in the description box below, and you can check those out so you can get the full story. So it has officially been 1 year since this whole journey began, and I guess I'm happy about that because everywhere I've looked says that like the first year is the hardest, and I really hope that's the case because I mean this past year it kind of sucked, but it wasn't that terrible. So if that's the worst it gets, I'm gonna be okay. But today I'm just gonna give a little bit of a recap and talk about kind of like how I'm feeling now that it's been a year. It's April like 21st. This month, last year, I experienced my first noticeable symptom of multiple sclerosis. So that means it is officially my 1 year MS anniversary, 1 year of having MS. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not 1 year since my diagnosis, but 1 year since this whole thing started and kind of started to become a reality for me. So I say my first like noticeable symptom because this symptom made me like have to go to the hospital to get checked out, which ultimately led to my diagnosis. Whereas like looking at it now, I'm seeing a lot of the symptoms of MS that I realistically have experienced in the past few years, and I just brush them off because they're basic things like fatigue. It's very easy to brush that off as being tired. However, I now know that like MS fatigue is a very different thing than being tired, and that my tired is very different than other people's tired. Kind of borders a little bit on the edge of narcolepsy. Sometimes I just have to surrender to the feeling and just be like, okay, I have to have like a 10-minute nap, otherwise the 10-minute nap's gonna have me. So that's just a reality, and I'm realizing now that that is a symptom of multiple sclerosis that I always ignored and just thought, oh, my diet sucks or whatever. So long story short, April 13th to 15th of 2019 is when it all really began for me. We were out for dinner with some family friends on like the Saturday night, which is the 13th, and I just noticed I was just extremely, it's not even like I was tired, my eyes were just so tired. I just kept like zoning out, and there were TVs behind our one friend, and I just kept watching the TVs, and I think like almost using those as an excuse, being like, oh, the TVs are super distracting, when really like I couldn't really pay attention to what was going on around me for some reason. It was really, really weird. And then the next day we actually went out for brunch, and it was the same thing. I had to look down at the table or like off to the side. I couldn't look up at people. It was just really strange. So the next day I left for work, and nothing crazy. I got off the streetcar, and that day I got off the streetcar and I really had to pee. So I got off, and my work is in the lower levels of a ginormous like skyscraper in downtown Toronto, and so you can actually get into it through this building. You have to like go downstairs and go into the path. And the path in Toronto is like an underground network. It's all kinds of like stores, businesses. There's some restaurants down there, and it just kind of connects like the downtown core down to Union Station and like up and down, I think up to the Eaton Center. That was my first time ever navigating that area. Went in through, it was a bank. I asked somebody where the washroom was. He told me how to like get downstairs, so I went down the escalator. I got off the escalator. Fortunately, the washroom was directly ahead. But right when I got downstairs, I realized that something was wrong. And that something was that there were two of everybody. And all of the signs were like extremely blurry. It just kind of felt like my world was like shaking, and I was like, is there like some kind of mirror down here that I'm not noticing? And I'm just like tripping a little bit right now, like what's happening? So I'm trying to find my way around, and I'm starting to realize, okay, this is a problem. Like, I don't think that my eyes should be doing this. I'm like really like having an issue right now. But I spoke to Chris as well, and we were like, okay, I think there's a walk-in clinic downstairs, so I'm gonna go back in there, try to navigate that, and try to get to the walk-in clinic. I went to the walk-in clinic. I explained to the doctor what was going on. He didn't really know what was happening. Then he ended up telling me that I should probably go to Emerge. Chris decided to leave work and come home, and we would go together. We, for some reason, because we're new to the area, we thought that going to like Oakville Hospital would make more sense than going to a downtown Toronto hospital, just because of like emergency wait times. Apparently we chose the wrong day to do that, according to the doctors. We waited for hours. For them to just tell me that maybe it's an ocular migraine. They didn't know. So they gave me some kind of like steroid and something, I don't even know. And I went home, and they were like, if it keeps happening, come back. So I went home, I waited out the next day, didn't go into work. I just kind of wanted to like chill and see if maybe like some rest would help. I had started a new like intense job, so maybe I was stressed. And then it was still happening, so the next day we decided to go to the hospital, which is actually like down the street from us in Toronto. And that was a much better experience, a lot quicker. I had a CT, no like big masses or anything like that. I ended up getting an appointment with a neurologist and for an MRI. Went for my MRI, saw the neurologist, and then it was that appointment, I think in May, where he, for the first time, brought up the possibility of it being multiple sclerosis. So I went through it for like a minute until I looked up the fact that multiple sclerosis is not a death sentence. Your life might be a lot harder, or just different, but it doesn't like take any years off your life or anything like that. So that calmed me. But obviously there were a lot of things swirling in my mind. Basically the next few months trying to like rule anything out, and like making sure that this is what it was. And then November 2019 came around, and I got the official diagnosis. So technically it's only been like, what, 5 months since I've been diagnosed? But it's been a year since I've been actually dealing with it and thinking it might be a possibility. So throughout those months, I experienced lots of different symptoms, some like at the same time as each other. Initially, I had the double vision. Double vision lasted until about August. In the meantime, I also had some numbness. For about a week or two, my entire like arm was kind of numb to like the touch, and it felt weird sometimes lifting my hand to like touch the screen at work. The numbness I talked about lingered in like my fingers for a long time. I no longer have that, which is nice, I guess, even though like I got used to it, so I don't really know. And then I explained, I don't want to explain it again because it's very hard to you're not ever really gonna get it unless you've ever been through it. But if you want to see me talk about it more, I will link another video down below explaining exactly what happens. But this crazy thing has been happening to like my arm and to my leg. And then I started Tecfidera in January, I believe, January 2020. Okay, so it is now time to take my first Tecfidera dose. All right, here we go. Well, there's not really any turning back now. So, like I said, the double vision was gone, the numbness was gone. I was still experiencing the arm and the leg thing at a terrible rate. Like, it was happening a lot. It was starting to really, really affect me. Then I developed blurry vision in my left eye. I was like, can't get a break with these eyes. And I ended up, so I spoke to my neurologist. He wanted me to come in right away. And I ended up having to take like prednisone, which is a steroid that I took orally for a certain amount of days. And it hasn't totally fixed my eye. I would say that I have about like 80% vision in my left eye. If I close my right eye, this eye is not nearly as reliable. It's totally clear in my right eye, but just a little bit weird in my left. So it helped a little bit, but I think it helped more with my leg and my arm situation. My arm situation hasn't happened in probably 2 weeks, which is crazy because it was happening sometimes like 4 times a day, which is pretty crazy. And I mean, that could be because I'm not working, I'm not putting as much stress on my body as I was, like being a server running around all day. I'm not going for those walks to the streetcar and things like that, but I still think there's a difference. So my mindset, I'm not really sure what happened, but I think one day I just kind of naturally was like, I don't actually feel that crappy. Like, a lot of what was going on with me was very mental, and I truly believe that like your mental state contributes to your physical state, and I think I was causing a lot of like the discomfort that I was going through, like myself. And one day just something switched in me where I was like, I'm fine. Like, these things suck. And it wasn't completely my mind. I definitely was like struggling with some things physically, but I think a lot of it definitely came from my mental state and how I felt about the situation. And you can't figure that out until you figure that out. You know what I mean? One day you just have to figure it out on your own. And I'm so happy that I did figure that out. It's not perfect. I still sometimes like get into a place where I'm like, damn, like, is my body falling apart on me? Or like what's happening? Is it the MS? Is it this? Is it this? And it's just like probably something I'm never gonna know the answer to. But I've definitely come to accept that and just be a lot more like at peace with it. And like I said, I feel pretty okay. It could be my medication. It could be like a placebo effect by the medication. I found out, so the eye problem was because a new lesion had slipped in very quickly from my last scan. But now that I've been on the medication, there have been no new lesions, which is really, really good news. If there were new lesions, that would mean that the medication's not working and I would have to go on something else. I don't want to go on anything else because these side effects I'm not enjoying. And these are supposed to be the more mild ones compared to all the other medications. So yeah, so we're glad this one's working right now. And I think that just gave me it was like a huge weight off my shoulders, but also kind of terrifying that like, if I didn't go on this medication, like what would be happening to me right now? But yeah, we don't want to get into that. But yeah, so I've been on the medication for like 3 or 4 months now. The one issue is that for 2 months straight, I was perfect with those pills. Like, it's 2 a day, and I didn't miss one once. And then all of a sudden I missed my first one. Something happened, and it was like a crazy busy morning. We were heading out, and I totally forgot to pack one in my purse for when it was time, and that sucked. The next day that you take it, it's like it was the first time that you've taken it all over again, and my entire body was on fire. This is insane. Look at my face. Can you tell? Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like my arms look the same, like my chest, like my ears. Like, this is not lighting. This is what happens when my dumbass forgets to take one of my Tecfidera pills. Like at like 3 o'clock, I just felt this weird like tingling on my neck, like it was about to start. And then I felt like something punched me in the stomach. And then I've been on fire for like 30 minutes. So, note to future Abby, don't forget to take your medication. Because this sucks. I look terrifying. And I feel horrible right now. Like, my stomach's on fire, my legs, my arms. Like, this didn't even happen the first time I ever took this medication. So, I really hope this is lesson learned. And like, it was horrendous. So I was like, okay, we're gonna make sure we don't miss any of those. And then I think I've missed 2 more since that, which really, really suck. I've had to resort to, like, I have an alarm on my phone for when I need to take the medication. And then I have a reminder to remind me to write down the date on the pill pack that I took that pill, just to make sure that I didn't forget then, that was 15 minutes after the alarm. So every single time I take a pill now, morning and night, I write down the date so that I can look back, and because it's every day right now feels like the exact same. So I'm like, I took it today, right? even if I like did take it, but I'm like, no, I don't know if I took it or not. So I'm having to write the date on my pill pack, the date that I took it, so that I'm not forgetting. So that seems to be going okay so far. I'm still experiencing the dry mouth, but I'm noticing that like a piece of candy, if I like move it around my mouth and like suck on it and stuff like that, it helps. Not completely, but it definitely helps. And great excuse to have candy, as if I needed one. And the flushing has come back, but that's completely my fault because I missed a few pills. So hopefully within another week or so, it should disappear like it did the first time when I was doing everything perfectly. Yeah, other than that, things have been going pretty well. I have been trying to just like, not ignore it, but I don't know if that sounds bad, but I'm not thinking about it, which I think is a positive thing because if you've been watching my videos, you know I have a problem with overthinking, and that's what caused me to fall into like a little bit of my depressive state. I got very wrapped up in like treatments and diets to like cure me and things like that. But honestly, I realized the stress of it all was causing me a lot more problems than my actual disease. So I stopped worrying about that. Right now I'm just focusing on like trying to be happy and comfortable and healthy. I'm eating what I want to eat, but I'm also trying to incorporate things that I know are good for my body just so that I can make sure that it's doing the right things. A downside of the medication is that it does make me immunocompromised. So this whole like quarantine situation, yeah, so I guess I'm immunocompromised. So that's fun. It just means that I'm more susceptible to all kinds of flus and viruses and stuff like that. So we have to do like regular blood tests to make sure that my white blood cell count's okay and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know. I don't have my next neurologist appointment or MRI until September, which is great news. But my next blood test should be soon, and I don't know how to do that with everything going on. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. But yeah, I don't know. That's the update. I feel like I rambled a lot. I had stuff written out here, but I just go off on my way. And this was supposed to be a part of a vlog, but now that I'm seeing that I've been filming for 20 minutes, I'm probably gonna make this a separate video. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm a lot less scared for what my future has in store for me. And I'm just trying to be like as positive as I can and also acknowledge my emotions and things like that and remind myself that they are valid. Something crazy is happening with me. But the whole thing where it's like, I have MS, but MS doesn't have me. But yeah, I'm good. So thank you so much for keeping updated with me and caring about what's going on with me. I really appreciate it. It's really nice to like be able to talk to people and like let things out. And also, if you have been going through similar things that I have been going through, I hope that I can be somebody that's relatable for you and you can see that like it's okay to talk about it, and hopefully it's the case for you that you can be positive about this and know that you're going to be okay. I know that it's a lot worse for a lot of people, but just, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, for staying here for this long if you have. And like, I really appreciate you wanting to like get to know me, get to know what I'm going through, and keep updated with all of this. It's really nice to know that there are people out there that are watching and supporting me, and I think that's made all the difference for me in this journey. And yeah, if you like this video, I would love it if you would give me a like, and definitely comment down below. Let me know your experiences. Do you have an autoimmune disease? Do you know anybody that has one? Do you think you might have one? Let's just let's be open and let's be friends and let's talk about this, because it's affecting a lot of people and you may not know it. I think it's really important to like talk about these things and normalize it. And also, not to mention, if you like my videos and if you comment on my videos and if you're subscribing and you're watching them to the end, that really shows YouTube that you like hearing from me, and that's gonna help me get pushed to wider audiences so that maybe I can find more people who are like me and just kind of needed to hear my story. So thank you so much if you're doing that, because yeah, it just really helps me out. So yeah, thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!